We now call the meeting to order. We will proceed to the invocation, but before we go there, I would like to invite Mr. Owen to join us up here. Mr. Owen Toyne is a kindergartner at State Street Elementary School, and he also attends the Oakland Church of the Nazarene, where he enjoys singing, dancing during worship, offering prayer during the children's moment, and learning more about Jesus and the Bible during Sunday school. He enjoys music, playing soccer, science, and reading, playing with his parents, and of course, his little brother Ryan and his dog Ziva. Owen, could you lead us in prayer? May you all please rise.
Your microphone, speak right into it, don't touch it. Speak loud enough. Go for it.
Dear God, thank you for the Topeka governing body. Give them wisdom and courage as they make decisions for our city. Help them to lead and serve our citizens, the citizens of Topeka. We pray this in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Whatever. And that is what we call the Pledge of Allegiance lingo, my friends. We now proceed with the swearing-in ceremony. If our judge could please approach the podium. We have a microphone for you if you would like.
I actually think we've got it set up.
We have it set up? Okay, so the ceremony is yours.
Okay. I'll do the altar. Okay. You will raise your right hand. I, Christina Valdivia Alcala,
I, Christina Valdivia Alcala,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of City Council Member for District Number 2
of City Council Member for District Number 2
of the City of Topeka.
of the City of Topeka.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
No protest.
I'm going to hold this for you.
Doesn't work.
Okay. You will raise your right hand.
Sure.
I, Tony Emerson,
I, Tony Emerson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of City Councilman for District Number 4
of City Councilman for District Number 4
of the City of Topeka.
of the City of Topeka.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Do you have a Bible? Do you need one? Do you want one? You will raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear
I, Hannah Nager, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of City Councilman for District Number 6
of City Councilman for District Number 6
of the City of Topeka.
of the City of Topeka.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Can you hold that for me?
You ready?
Yep.
I, Spencer Duncan,
I, Spencer Duncan,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of City Council Member for District Number 8
of City Council Person for District Number 8
of the City of Topeka.
of the City of Topeka.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I wasn't leaving. I got what I wanted. I'll see you later.
Your colleagues were worried. We now proceed with the roll call.
Mayor De La Isla.
Here.
Council members Hiller.
Here.
Valdivia Acula.
Here.
Ortiz.
Here.
Emerson.
Here.
Padilla.
Here.
Nager.
Present.
Delaware.
Here.
Duncan.
Here.
And Lesser.
Here.
Thank you for honoring the previous council member. We now move on to the appointments.
A is a board appointment recommending the appointment of Walter Frederick to the Civil Service Commission to fill an unexpired term ending January 5, 2024. B is a board appointment recommending the reappointment of Robert Banks to the Topeka Housing Authority Advisory Board to fill an unexpired term ending on December 31, 2023. C is a board appointment recommending the appointment of Melina Stewart to the Topeka Landmarks Commission for a term ending December 31, 2022.
We have heard the motion. What is the thank you so much. Councilman Lester makes a motion. So moved. Second to Councilwoman Ortiz. Comments or questions on these appointments? Seeing none, we proceed by voting.
We have 9 yes. Appointments.
9 having voting yes, the motion passes. The mayor does not vote on this one. We do have 2 individuals, Mr. Bank, and I think that we also may have here Ms. Stewart. If you could please stand to be recognized. Thank you for your service to our community, for serving on our boards. We now move on to the consent agenda, if the clerk would read.
A are minutes of the regular meeting of January 7, 2020, and there are no applications.
What is the pleasure of the body? Councilman Lesser makes the motion for approval. So moved. Councilwoman Ortiz seconds the motion. Questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, we proceed by voting.
We have 10 yes.
10 having voting yes, the motion passes. We now move on to the non-action items, if the clerk would read.
A is public input will be received in preparation of the city's 2020-2021 strategic goals.
City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight, we established as an opportunity for citizens to be able to come forward and talk to the governing body regarding what they consider to be the priorities and goals that they would like to see we're headed into having your session to determine strategic goals and priorities this Saturday at Old Prairie Town, starting at 8:30. And so we, in discussion actually with newest council member Valdivia Alcala, she thought that this would be something that we should have the opportunity to be able to hear from citizens, and this agenda was a very good one to place that on. So carry through with that and look forward to hearing what the citizens have to say.
Wonderful. So the first person signed up to speak is Mr. Boyd Federal.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all for your service to our community. I'm here tonight, excuse me, on behalf of the LGBTQ plus community in Topeka, requesting that one of the priorities for this coming year be the enactment of a non-discrimination ordinance for employment and for housing. We as a city pride ourselves on being inclusive, open, accepting group of people. For the large part, that is true. There are, however, some exceptions. For 17, almost 18 years, I served as a hearing officer for the Topeka Housing Authority, heard several cases of individuals who were renting from private landlords who chose to discriminate against them because of their sexual orientation. This is not an acceptable situation. People should not be denied decent, affordable housing based on a sexual preference, sexual orientation, whatever, under any circumstances. The people that I was hearing were people who, in many cases, were in danger because of health issues and were being discriminated against because of that. I was lucky enough to work for an agency for 17 years that is not only open and inclusive, but also has in their personnel policy a very clear statement against bias based on sexual orientation. I was fortunate enough to work with these people and to be accepted by them as an openly gay man. My husband, when he was alive, was accepted. This should be the norm. Many corporations have chosen not to locate in various states because of their attitudes and biases against people, the LGBTQ community. We do not need to have that kind of an economic bias against the city of Topeka. We also feel that, sorry.
You have 1 more minute, sir.
We also feel that this could help the city of Topeka, could help the state of Kansas enact laws that would also guarantee people's rights. We would ask that you consider this as one of your top priorities for this coming year. And I thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. The next person signed up to speak is Jeffrey Terrell.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Topeka governing body, as that beautiful young child said. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to express my thoughts as you get together with some new members on this retreat. I think it's spectacular that you're getting the feedback at this time. I am a father of 2 here in Topeka, and I've been here a long time. One at K-State in chemical engineering, one at Washburn Rural High School, and I'm here to express a desire that each and every one of you take life, health, and safety as the critical driving factor in your policy decisions as you move forward. William Allen White said, if anything is going to happen in this country, it happens in Kansas first. And so what I think you have as leaders of one of only 50 cities in our great nation as capital cities, you have the opportunity to be a leader and example in the region and in the country in the global fight of our age, in the regional fight of our age, in the city fight of our age, which is the climate emergency. I can think of no policy that is unaffected or is not an opportunity to address CO2 emissions, which will affect the young gentleman leading us in prayer this morning especially. It'll affect my kids. It'll affect me less. It'll affect all of you probably less. Time is not on our side. It can be improved, and we can make a name for ourselves in the Midwest as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, leading group in housing policy, zoning policy, water policy, utilities, infrastructure, personnel policy, hiring, firing, work hours. There's nothing that you can think of that there's not some small opportunity to address CO2 emissions. It, in a sense, is a ticking time bomb. And I'm not an alarmist of all things. I was born in the Midwest. I like to keep things calm and reasonable and quiet. But we don't have time to pull our heads under the blanket and pretend this doesn't exist. So I'll leave it at that. But I would encourage you, as you think about how to work together as a new team, reducing CO2 emissions in a city no larger than Appleton, Wisconsin, or others of our size, will make a difference. It is not a futile fight. I would encourage you to think about the issue of our age in addition to the issues of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. The next person signed up to speak is Phoenix Nesmith.
Good evening. My name is Phoenix Nesmith, and I use they, them pronouns. I've been an activist for roughly 6 years now, focusing primarily on issues facing the LGBTQ community, and particularly trans and queer youth. I served as president of Beacon Youth Group for several years, was a founding member of Topeka Pride, and have taken every opportunity possible to advocate for myself and others in my community. Today I'm here to talk about the City of Topeka's non-discrimination ordinance. More specifically, I'd like to ask that updating the ordinance to include protections on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression be included as part of the strategic goals for this session. I grew up in Topeka, and for quite some time, my sole focus was on leaving. Like many LGBTQ kids in Topeka, I dreamed of finding a place where I would feel unconditionally safe and protected. When I tell friends who live outside of Topeka, where I grew up, as an outspoken, non-binary bisexual, there's usually a mix between fascination and horror. Fascination at how bizarre an experience that must have been, and it was, and horror at the idea of a young person growing up surrounded by picketers, holding signs calling them slurs, and dooming them for all eternity. I often take the time to explain to these friends that overall Topeka is a fairly accepting place. Most folks I know here are kind, compassionate individuals who believe in justice and equality for all individuals. I do not believe that hate is a value found easily in Topeka. But if we are to be able to truly, honestly claim that we care about all of our citizens, it is essential that LGBTQ individuals be protected under the law. We are one of the most vulnerable populations when it comes to unemployment, homelessness, and more. We are at extremely high risk of negative experiences in discrimination in employment. In a survey conducted by Harvard University's School of Public Health, 90% of respondents reported some form of harassment, discrimination, or mistreatment in the workplace. And 59% of respondents said that where they live, they are less likely to be afforded employment opportunities than their straight cisgender peers. We're at higher risk of homelessness, especially at young ages. An estimated 40% of homeless youth in the United States are LGBTQ. Transgender individuals are particularly vulnerable, with an unemployment rate 3 times higher than the national average, according to the National Center for Transgender Equality, and with 19% of trans folks experiencing homelessness at some point in their life, according to the National Coalition for the Homeless. Amending the ordinance has other benefits that would help further past and current goals of the city as well. I mentioned earlier that myself and many others I knew who grew up here fantasize about the day we're able to leave. It may be relevant to mention that I did leave and I came back, and I've chosen to stay back because I believe in what this city can become. Sorry, many papers. Increasing our population, protecting LGBTQ individuals is essential. I'd also like to point out that this has been discussed frequently many times over the year, as recently as fall of 2019. The chapter of the municipal code that deals with discrimination reads, "The practice or policy of discrimination is a matter of concern to the city, since such discrimination not only threatens the rights and privileges of the inhabitants of the city, but also menaces the institutions and foundations of a free democratic state." If this city and this council believe that, it's time to put our money where our mouth is. It's time to ensure that the most vulnerable among us are protected. It's time to treat updating the non-discrimination ordinance to include LGBTQ individuals as a priority. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next person signed up to speak is Nicole Neesmith.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Neesmith, and I use she, her pronouns. And yeah, it's not a coincidence that our last names are the same. I'm very lucky to experience a great deal of privilege here in Topeka. I'm white, middle class, heterosexual, and cisgender. I have a good job and adequate housing where I feel safe. And I am not a part of the LGBT+ community, but some of my children are. And I'm kind of a mama bear, if any of you have heard that term. I worry for their safety. 9 out of 10 LGBTQ youth report being harassed and bullied at school. Over 1/3 of LGBTQ youth were physically assaulted at school due to their sexual orientation or gender identity. So how does adding protections for sexual orientation and gender identity to the city's non-discrimination ordinance help these kids? It sends a message that Topeka is a welcoming place where all people can be their authentic selves without fear. It lets young people know that this is a city to invest in long term, rather than leaving in search of a place where they feel safe and more comfortable. And it lets people who might be considering a move to Topeka know that this city cares about all of its citizens. I'm asking you, as you consider your strategic goals for 2020, to please make this a priority. It may seem like such a small thing, but I assure you, to the people this protects, it means everything. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next person signed up to speak is Ms. Linda Oakes.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and city staff members. My name is Linda Oakes, and I am the director of the Shawnee County Health Department. With me is Susan Kamen, our community health planner. Recently, we released the 2020 to 2022 Community Health Improvement Plan. This is our community strategic plan for health. The plan was developed based on the 2018 Community Health Needs Assessment, which include a series of community surveys and town halls to collect input from residents of every zip code in Shawnee County. In the 2020 to 2022 Community Health Improvement Plan, the community identified 4 priority areas for health. 1, behavioral health, 2, access to foods, 3, substance use, and 4, health equity. We do have printed copies of the plan we can give you, and is also available on the Health Department website as well as the Heartland Healthy Neighborhoods website. In this plan, you will find a description and specific goals for each of these priority areas. I encourage you to review this document and consider health as you set goals and priorities for the city of Topeka. A lot of good things are happening in Topeka. We are seeing so much positive movement and development. As you look towards the future, I urge you to think about how your decisions will impact the health of our citizens. We've already taken some important steps in the area of health policy, such as the Complete Streets guidelines adopted by both the city and the county, and the Tobacco 21 ordinance also passed by both. I think there are some good opportunities to help support health in the near future. Supporting the Topeka Central Grocery Oasis in their efforts to bring a grocery store into a food desert. This work supports priority area number 2 in the Community Health Improvement Plan, access to food. The goal under this priority area is to decrease food insecurity and food deserts in Shawnee County. Another way to support health is to support active transportation, including the Topeka Metro and Bike Share program. Priority area number 4, health equity, includes a goal to decrease obesity among Shawnee County residents. One of the intervention strategies is support the continuation of Complete Streets guidelines, continue programming and initiatives, including the expansion of multi-purpose pathways and other bike, pedestrian, and transit-enabling infrastructures to improve community connectedness and active transport throughout Topeka and Shawnee County. And lastly, continuing to support Heartland Healthy Neighborhoods, which is our grassroots community health coalition in Topeka and Shawnee County, composed of representatives of over 60 organizations in our community. Please let me know how the health department can help and assist in this work. You'll be hearing from us in the months ahead as we work on the objectives and goals of the Community Health Improvement Plan. Health is quality of life, and we want every community member to experience the best health possible. I also believe that health improvement is economic development. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you for your comments. The next person signed up to speak is Mr. John Campos.
Good evening. How are you, all of you?
Hi, Mr.
Want to
Campos.
first? Do I get time? Do I go?
Good to go.
All right. First, thank you, Councilwoman Valdivia Alcala, for allowing us to speak this evening. There's a few issues I'd like to address with the council, and congratulations to the new council members. Welcome. Though the weight is heavy, I understand. I've been there. You guys will do a lot of work on the back side of things, behind doors that will not be praised in the public. So I understand. Good luck to all of you. I come to you mainly today where the rubber meets the road, our investment in the youth. Mainly in 2010 through 12, we went through a process where higher wisdom, as it were, would guide us to ultimately give over our park systems in full, including the parks, recreation centers, pools, and everything associated with the Parks Department over to the county. And where that rubber meets the road is youth programs. We have seen significant percentages decrease in those percentages, that is, in youth programs since that program and since that department went over to the county. And I would like to see this city council put priorities forward for 2021 and actually putting general fund dollars directly towards youth programs, before school programs, after school programs, literacy programs, and most importantly, where the brain drain occurs the most, that's during the summer months. It is unfair to expect one organization in our city and in our county to carry the full weight of all of our youth. It's also unfair to not have this city council invest in its youth. There is no programs that I'm aware of that completely invest into city youth, beyond that of the Topeka Youth Project, which was cut in years past from a previous council. So in order for us to grow homegrown talent, in order for us to have true economic development, we have to invest in future Topekans, and those are Topekan youth. Second to that is Improvement in our neighborhoods. I think all of us can share that we need sidewalk improvements extensively. Allowing for the SORT program to be the primary source of funding for low-income areas is not the prerogative of the citizens of this city, and it should not be the prerogative of this council. Allowing for federal dollars to come into poor areas of the community to put those sidewalks down shouldn't be the only investment that we're seeing in those neighborhoods. I would also like to see your predecessor, how do you pronounce your last name, Councilwoman?
Nager.
Nager, okay. Your predecessor initiated the Neighborhood Partnership Program, which existed in 2017 and 2018. That program does not exist in 2018, 2019. The City Council did not rescind that program. I would like to see it restarted, and I would like to see more effort from the Department of Neighborhood Development reaching out to NIAs to initiate those types of programs. And also international city sisters. I would like us to move forward in being a global capital city. Reaching out to some of our capital cities across the globe, such as Riyadh, Seoul, Bangkok, reaching out to manufacturing cities and creating those sister relationships. I've spent the better part of 3 years at Washburn University and have met an extensive amount of international students who come from all over the globe to study right here in the capital city. It's time that we align ourselves with a global perspective. And lastly, I would also like to ask you to consider hemp production being allowed in city lands, including those lands inside of the levee systems, and allowing for hemp production to be had here in the city of Topeka. In the last authorization bill that we received from the Department of Agriculture, also known as the Farm Bill, Senator Mitch McConnell allowed for hemp production to be had. It's something to think about, something to think as a global city. Thank you for your time, and good luck to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. The next person signed up to speak is Mr. Steve Schiffelbein.
Good evening, all the city council members and governing body, and welcome. Appreciate your service. Good evening. My name is Steve Schiffelbein. I'm a member of Mother Teresa of Calcutta Catholic Church and an executive member of the Topeka Justice and Unity Ministry Project, Topeka Jump. Now, Topeka Jump is a coalition of 25 faith communities from across Topeka and Shawnee County. Now, our faith communities represent over 5,000, members. We regularly engage more than 1,000 persons from those faith communities. On April 29, 2019, 1,200 of our members overflowed Mosby Heart of Mary Catholic Church. We packed the house. We know them by name, and they show up year after year because we have successfully achieved unity on what we believe is important to the neighborhoods you represent. So we regularly engage our members around problems they want to see tackled in the immediate future. The solutions we propose have been effectively implemented in other cities. These solutions yield a better quality of life for the people who live here. Our previous issues have been support for at-risk students in USD 501 and increased access to mental health services. Here are our current issues, which we are asking you to have reflected in your list of 2020-21 priorities. 1, increased access to affordable housing for low-income families. 2, public transportation that gets city residents to work at major employers in the county. 3, reduced shooting violence by using the Group Violence Intervention Program. We invite you to schedule sit-down meetings with us where you can ask more questions about these campaigns. And please, put our next Nehemiah Action activity on your calendars. We will have over 1,200 people there, and these items will be on that agenda. That meeting is Monday, April 27th, 2020, at a location to be announced. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. These have been the only individuals that have signed up to speak on this issue. I think that it would be okay if I were to ask if there was anybody else on the public that would be interested in speaking to any issue that you would like to have discussed or added to our strategic plans. You're signed up. But if you want to come up and speak now? Okay. Okay. Making sure that everybody here has an opportunity. We want to maximize on this opportunity that we have today. Seeing nobody, we now proceed to the public comment and Mr. Woolnager.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. Just wanted to make sure that I was ready to speak. But I was just I am a member of the Human Relations Commission. I have spoken before the council before, but as there are some new members, just wanted to come back and speak again, make sure that you guys were aware that the Human Relations Commission has been working on, as previously mentioned a couple times tonight, rewording the pre-existing non-discrimination ordinance and making sure that those classes that are protected in employment, public accommodation, and housing, that those classes will include ideally sexual orientation and gender identity, making sure that people are not discriminated on those conditions. I wanted to give you guys an update. Since the last time I was here, it came from the Human Relations Commission to a relevant committee with the council and has been sent back. We are working on some different things, making sure that it is addressing concerns that are specific to Topeka's existing language, and just making sure that it fits our city. But I wanted to also thank you because many of you I've already had conversations with or will be having conversations with, and it's been really useful that although it's taking a bit of time to make sure that all of your guys' concerns are addressed, I'm happy to hear those concerns and make sure that those are incorporated now rather than having them come up later. But just wanted to make sure that that is something that's still on your guys' radar for this upcoming year. And if you guys have any questions or concerns about that, feel free to reach out to the Human Relations Commission, to me specifically. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. We now move on to announcements. If the clerk would read.
On the January 21st preliminary agenda, we have, on the action items, we have election of deputy mayor, election of JEDO board members, election of the MTPO policy board members, and then we have a resolution for creating a benefit district in Sherwood Village, and 2 for Horseshoe Bend number 5. And we will have discussion relating to the commencement date, terms of office, and meeting locations. And then we'll have discussion on the capital improvement plan and finance overview.
City Manager.
I have nothing to add.
So my announcement, first of all, I want to say welcome to the team. Excited to have all of you here. And so next week is going to be the week that we are going to have the elections for the deputy mayor position for the members of JEDO. I had last year agreed to speak in the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and that date coincides with Tuesday. So the city attorney can tell you that for a month I have been trying to see if we could change the date of this exercise. And the challenge that we have with that is that whereas with other meetings and other issues, we could very easily say, let's take a vote and move this. This one particular is a charter ordinance issue. So it would have taken a 60-day period for the public to come just so that we could switch when we're going to make those votes. So that being said, I wanted to give everybody the heads up. The clerk will be leading that meeting. until we get to the election of the deputy mayor, and at which point the deputy mayor will run that meeting. And I will be, yeah. And I will be back to the usual program that next Tuesday after that. But it's kind of sad because I was really looking forward to being here for that. And I've tried every possible way to see if I could have a proxy vote, if I could call in, and the answer has been no. So welcome all of you. I'm so excited to have you on board. And we start with Councilwoman Hiller.
I too just want to welcome everyone. We did manage to wrap up some issues that had been riding along, but we have plenty to deal with. I think it's exciting that, and we'll give you credit for it, that we took input today regarding our strategic planning retreat on Saturday, and I look forward to serving with everyone.
Councilwoman Valdivia Alcala.
Probably a couple of things. One, I look forward to working with you all. I'm excited about the years to come. Also want to give a huge shout out to District 2. I'm here, I'm ready. I'm just honored, deeply honored that I won. And so, I'm just ready to do the job. There is one thing that I did want to just take the time to read very briefly. And I will get started on that right now. On December 17th, 2019, a motion was passed to outsource City of Topeka Social Service Grants Program to a third-party vendor. I do have a few concerns. In the last several years, the city's social service internal grant process has struggled with the grading of agency applications. Let's remember, the time to refine a program does not occur overnight. When there is a problem with process, all parts must be looked at and worked rather than throw up our hands. We take the challenge rather than pushing it off to someone else. 3 vital senior centers with impressive outcomes were denied. As part of an appeal process, they and other Topeka organizations came before the Social Service Grants Committee. This appeal process was really no more than a venting session. And because of obsolete and extreme grading criteria, those denied remain denied. During the same appeal process, a grant administrative staff person stated the grant process was harsh. Pros and cons were heard during months of meetings, which I did attend and also listen to a number of times, and viable recommendations on changing the weight of scoring were suggested by council members and agency directors. One former council person stated that seeing the process from the side of the grant applicant, she was the grant writer and the organization she wrote for was also denied. Now she could see and view the process as being too mechanical and forgetting to weigh in the impact of what the agencies do and those many served across Topeka. This former council person admitted the guidelines needed to be changed. And let's remember, the initial call for outsourcing was not made by staff. It was put in motion by an additional former council person. Unfortunately, the council person viewed the grant system as corrupt, flawed, and couldn't believe all the phone calls from the haters that were received when certain organizations were not approved. This vitriol serves neither the city nor is it meant to serve those that we serve. Taking calls, answering emails, doing the work of being transparent and accountable is our job as elected officials and of staff. We are all paid by the taxpayers' hard work and dollars that keep Topeka going. So I do have right here something that I'm going to pass out. It is a notice to the governing body and city manager, and it reads to the governing body and city manager, let this serve as notice that I will be moving to rescind the motion that was approved on December 17th, 2019, allowing the City of Topeka to outsource social service grants program to a third-party vendor. A majority vote is needed to rescind. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Councilwoman Ortiz?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. She ready. Sounds like it anyway. I just want to welcome everybody to the team, and my phone is available. If you can't reach me, you can call Mr. Emerson. He does take a lot of my backup telephone calls. If there's anything that I can do to help you get started or help you understand, I've been in your shoes. It's been a long time, but I'd be happy to do that. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councilman Emerson?
Thank you, Mayor. I also just wanted to thank the citizens, the voters of District 4 for once again entrusting me to represent them. I'm going to work my butt off over the next 4 years trying to make them proud, and I look forward to working with all the new members as well as the older people on the team. So thank you.
Councilman Padilla?
Older people?
Older, like you, Dad. Like you, Dad.
Right, clean it up.
Discipline. I just want to wish everyone a Happy New Year. And it's looking like it's going to be a very busy new year. And I'm looking forward to all the work that we need to do. Remind everybody that this is a team effort. Everybody comes here with those things that they want to bring as priorities, but they get accomplished by all of us working together to get them down the road. So keep that in mind when we're bringing things to the body. And again, welcome to all the newcomers. It's fun. I've been at it for 2 years now, and believe me, it's overwhelming sometimes, but it's good work. It makes you feel good at the end of the day. Just answer as many emails as you can, and good luck to you all. Thank you.
Councilwoman Nader?
I want to say thank you to the voters of District 6 for this opportunity. I'm very excited to serve in my hometown and really build upon the work that you all have been doing and that I'm excited to continue to do. Thank you for this opportunity to work with all of you.
Councilman Dobler?
Well, as a seasoned and long-serving council person, no, I'd like to say, did you say old? Yeah, get no respect. Yeah, welcome. This is a great group. I think we're not going to miss a beat with everybody that's new here this evening. So thank you very much.
Councilman Duncan?
I'll just say 3 quick things. The first is my wife had to leave because it turns out 6-year-olds don't really like to sit through city council meetings. I don't know why, but so I don't know. I guess we're televised, so I'll get credit for this. But I just at least want to let the world know you can't do this if the home life isn't committed. And so it wasn't just when I ran and did this, but it was a commitment from her that I will be at these meetings and many other meetings and late night phone calls and emails. And so she is as committed as I am, and I want not only this council to know that, but the people of Topeka to know that so that I can sit here and serve. The second thing is, it is surreal. Like Hannah said, I'm a Topeka boy born and bred, and not only that, I grew up in the district that I'm sitting in a seat for. So, 44 years later, being born there, it's nice to be able to say that I know my district well, and I will do everything I can to serve it well, and hopefully take all the values it gave me growing up in that district and put those back into Topeka. And the third thing is just everyone out there watching, listening, doing whatever. I don't know, eventually we'll be on the website. Maybe we already are. I don't know, with all our contact information. But I meant it when I ran, and I'll say it every time I sit up here. But we can only accomplish the things the people of Topeka want us to do if I know what those are. So my email is up there. Everything, phone numbers are up there. Please, people, use them. So thank you very much.
Councilman Lesser?
Can I give you a list?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just also would like to welcome the new council people aboard. Look forward to working with all of you. If there's anything I can do to help any of you but Tony, then just let me know.
We don't have any executive sessions this evening, so at this point in time, don't get used to this. This meeting is adjourned. However, the council members, we're going to have a picture taken of all of us at the end of the meeting. So, Taylor, will you direct us?
Yes.